Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got Heartbroken and Joins Multiversal Faction Part 1. Before we start, please go support Angel Gonzalez 753 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear. This Issei is a male in this story. Arrival in a new world. The cult club. We can see a group of girls very well known to everyone who had a serious face. The Keno. They think it's the best, said the black-haired girl, doubtful of the idea they were considering. Zenovia. Yes, it's the best way to have a prosperous future with ICE, said the blue-haired girl. Irina. To be honest, the perverted way she acts is annoying. She said she was serious about the angel. Riaz. Then we all agree that we will finish off ICE so that he stops that behavior, she said seriously while everyone nodded. Outside the club. Issei. Are you sure that Butchu wants to see me? He said, looking at the vampire and the prince of the school. Kiba. That's right, she sent me to look for you, he said calmly. Asper. Kiba-senpai, it's time to go so I can close the contract on time, he said somewhat nervously. Kiba. Okay Gasper, let's go, he said calmly. Issei. Well, see you guys, he said calmly, entering the club. Asper. Are you sure it was for the best? Said the transvestite vampire worriedly. Kiba. I guess I just hope he doesn't suffer, he said calmly. Club room. The brown-haired boy entered calmly, meeting all the girls of the clan along with Irina, while they all looked at him in a cold and serious way. Issei. Boo Butchu, what do you need? She said a little nervously as all the girls looked at her. Riaz. Look, I see, the girls and I have decided to break off the relationship between us, she said dryly. Issei. Boo, but why, he said incredulously. Asia. Issei-san, we are tired of your perverted way of being, she said seriously. Roswis. That's right, and that's why everything that was between us ended, she said seriously. Issei. All of them think the same, he said, wanting to cry. Greg. Be strong, my friend. They don't deserve your tears, he said in the chestnut's mind. Issei. I understand and I hope you are very happy, he said, turning around and leaving the club. 20 minutes later. Haidu residence. We can see a brown-haired man sitting on a sofa while tears fell down his cheek. Issei. Why, you really didn't think I could change, and you just thought I would be a pervert forever, he said, clenching his hands tightly. Greg. It's not worth it anymore for you to hurt yourself like that because you don't go out with your friends, he said calmly from the gauntlet. Issei. I think you're right, it's time to forget the pain and move on, he said, wiping away his tears. So the brown-haired boy began to call everyone on the phone, a group of boys. 15 minutes later. Bill. Hey, I see, what's up, said a curious albino boy. Issei. Boo, well, I wanted to spend some time together now that the girls broke up with me, he said a little dejected. Gustav. Wait, they left you after all the sacrifices you made for them, said a brown-haired boy with red eyes incredulously. Angel. They are miserable, but why did they leave you? Said a very upset blue-haired man. Issei. Well, they told me that they got tired of my perverted attitude and they finished me off, he said with his head down. Jack. And they didn't give you the chance to redeem your mistakes, so they didn't love you as much as they said a serious black-haired man. Angel. Thanks for your optimism, Jack, but you did the right thing by calling us to cheer you up, he said calmly, while the others nodded. Bill. Some way to have fun, we are 5 singles, he said happily. Issei. How about we go to Tokyo? We don't have classes until next Monday, he said curiously. Gustav. I guess it's okay, but we'll be arriving at 3:45 p.m. If we had a car, we could arrive at 7:30 p.m., he said, curious. Issei. But we have a car, he said as if nothing happened. Guys. You have a car, they shouted in disbelief. Issei. Yes, follow me, he said, walking to a kind of garage. Issei. This is my car, he said, showing a red convertible. Angel. You know what it means, she said amused. Guys. We will have fun like never before. The next morning. Issei. My head is pounding, he said, holding his head while sitting on the bed. Greg. I don't know, I don't remember either. Issei. Your arm, he said, alarmed from the booster gear. Issei. What's wrong with me, what is this? He said, seeing a strange armor on his arm. Issei. Boo, but what's happening, he said nervously. Good morning, said a female voice. Issei. Who are you? He said, looking at a brunette woman lying on her bed. Bella. I'm Bella, your wife, she said smiling. Issei. My wife. What happened yesterday? 1-3. Silence filled the room after what the brunette said, who was now the brown-haired man's wife. Issei. What they mean, my wife, incredulous cry. Greg. My partner has become quite a man, he said proudly from the booster gear. Issei. Shut up, you damn lizard, he said upset. Bella. Honey, calm down, you don't have to get like that, she said affectionately. Issei. Sorry for putting it like this, but could you tell me how we ended up married and I had this thing on my arm, he said curiously. Bella. Well, you and your friends fell from the sky at around 8 at night. A few people, including myself, went to investigate and we found them very happy and laughing. They told us that they were partying and wanted to have fun, she said calmly. Say. And what happened next and where are my friends, he said nervously. Bella. Well, they started having fun and I don't remember much since we started drinking, and from the little I remember was that they went to the monument in honor of the Avengers and each one took a legendary weapon. We thought that nothing would happen since those weapons didn't work since the death of the original owners, but to our surprise they did activate and our leader decided to proclaim them as the new selves of Worlderland, and so a great celebration began, she said happily. Say. Worlderland is the name of this place, he said incredulously. Bella. That's right, but let's continue. I don't remember much after that until about 3-4 in the morning. You told me that I was very pretty and that if I wanted to be your wife, I said yes. We went to a church and the priest was happy to marry us. Some of your friends were there. There was even a blue-haired boy who was crying, saying that the boy was becoming a man. Then we came home to spend our honeymoon, she said with a smile. Drake. Wow, that was a fun night, he said in disbelief. Ella. You think so, Drake, she said calmly. Say. Wait, you know Drake, he said amazed. Bella. Of course you told me about him and I also know that you can use his powers, she said calmly. Say. Really, he said with a face that couldn't believe what was happening. Bella. Yes, even before we got married, my stupid ex-boyfriend, Beast, showed up and wanted to take me with him, but you got angry and summoned your red armor with green gems and beat him up, she said with a big smile. Greg. Wow, when you're drunk you don't mess around and you stop being a prince, he said mockingly. Say. And my friends, he said worried. Bella. I don't know, after our wedding we went home, she said calmly. Say. Damn, I have to find them, he said seriously. Greg. I see, why don't you use your cell phone, he said seriously. Say. You're right, but what the hell, he said incredulously watching a video. Bella. What's wrong? She said confused. The brown-haired boy showed him a video of him and the boys partying like crazy and drinking alcohol with many people. Say. How long until I drink the whole bottle? He said staggeringly. Bill. You are not very pure, he said laughing. Gustav. Come on, do it, I see, show them that you are not a bucking prince maybe, but never a faggot, he said drunk. Jack Angel. Bottom, they both said while the brown-haired boy finished the whole bottle. Say. I'm not saying that, he said triumphantly as he finished the video. Greg. Wow, you're serious, he said incredulously. Say. I'd better go call, he couldn't continue because his phone started ringing. Ring. Acme brand sound effects. Say. Hello, he said still stunned. Bella. No, love, it's hello, she said calmly. Say. So hello, he said more focused. Angel. I see, I need help, he said scared. Say. Angel passing by, he said surprised to hear his friend's voice. Angel. I'm in, I don't know where the hell I am. The only thing I know is that I woke up in a strange place next to a girl who says she is my wife. I told her that I didn't know what she was talking about and now her father is furious and said that I have to comply with his daughter or I'll end up dead, he said scared and very nervous. Say. This can't be if you don't know where you are, what's the girl's name? He said seriously. Angel Mulin Famulin, he said nervously. Say. Bella, you know a girl named Famulin, he said looking at the brunette. Bella. Of course, she's my friend, she's in the Chinese district, she said calmly. Say. Take me, my friend's life is at stake, he said seriously while the brunette nodded. Angel. Could you hurry up, he said nervously. Say. I'm coming now, hey, don't you have a weapon or something to defend yourself with? He said seriously. Angel. A high-tech bow, but I can't find the arrows, he said nervously. Say. This couldn't be done, but I'm on my way, your resistance. Chinatown, Fa family house. I found it, it's behind the well, said a strange miniature dragon. Well done, Mushu, said an older man. Mushu. It was nothing, he said calmly. Mushu. Well, young Angel will accept the marriage with my daughter, he said seriously, unsheathing his sword. Say. Please don't kill him, he said tiredly appearing next to the brunette. Angel, I see, he said hopefully. Mushu. Don't get involved in this, young Haidu, he said seriously. Say. Please, he doesn't deserve to die, he said nervously. Mushu. He doesn't deserve it. In the middle of the night he marries my daughter and steals her innocence so that we can tell that being married was a mistake. No, he doesn't do that to my daughter, he said, preparing his sword. Mushu. Dishonor for your whole family, take note, dishonored, you're dishonored cow, said the little dragon, while a little cricket wrote down. Mulin. Why do you regret it now, sniff? If at night everything was happiness, sniff, said a black-haired girl appearing next to her mother. Say. Wow, she's so cute, why does the idiot reject her? He thought calmly. Angel, you and I can talk alone, he said seriously. Shoo. I don't want any kind of trick or I'll castrate you both, he said seriously. Well, Icy nodded scared. Say. Well, I guess with what just happened you don't remember anything from last night, right? He said seriously. Angel. No, I don't remember. The last thing that comes to my memory was that a strange portal opened in front of us, he said curiously. Greg. Oh, so we fell into another world, he said curiously. Say. Or I'm leading you to that conclusion, Sherlock. 1. That the place is called Wonderland. 2. That I face a thing called a beast. Or 3. The talkative miniature dragon, he said ironically. Angel. I say, what are we going to do about the marriage? What will my parents say, he said nervously. Say. We have nothing but water and garlic, he said heavily. Angel. Water and garlic? He said confused. Say. Hold on and bucket, he said dryly. Angel. But I don't continue because Icy spoke. Say. Come on, tell me something, that girl is a beauty, now tell me how many girls have sought you out for who you are and not for your money, he said seriously. Angel. None, they all seek me out for financial gain, he said, head down. Say. Now look at that girl crying for you, it seems that she likes you too much, so what will you do, he said seriously. Angel. I will act like a real man, he said seriously. So the two boys returned to the others. Angel. Mulin, after everything that happened and my friend helping me remember, I want our marriage to remain clear if that's what you want, he said, bowing slightly. Mulin. Yes, I do, she said very happily, rushing towards the blue-haired boy. Shoo. I see that I made the best decision, he said calmly. Say. Excuse me, could you give us information on where our other friends are? He said sadly. Shoo. After the wedding I lost sight of the black-haired and the albino, but the other brown-haired one went to Arendelle, he said calmly. Ella. It's a bit far, but I know how to get there, she said calmly. Say. Well, let's go to Arendelle. What happened yesterday? 2, 3. Say. Wow, this place is pretty amazing, he said as they got ready to leave. Ella. If Worlderland is a world where you can have a rudimentary house or ancient cultures that have the most modern technology, she said calmly. Say. Wow, that is amazing but beautiful, could you tell me what happened to the rest of the armor I have, he said curiously, showing his arm. Ella. They fused with your gauntlet and saved your right arm because you passed out from too much alcohol, he said amused. Greg. Wow, you combined the armor of that well-known man with Iron Man or Tony Stark, he said in amazement, while the brown-haired boy absorbed the last part of the armor. Say. Great, this increased my power, he said curiously. Greg. I don't know, maybe we just need to see what your new balance breaker will be like, he said excitedly. Mulin. I'm sorry for the delay, but I couldn't go out wearing a rather uncomfortable kimono, said the black-haired girl with different clothes. Ella. Well, it's time to go to Arendelle, she said happily. Say. And how will we get there, he said curiously. Ella, using the bullet train. Human world, hide your residence. The girls are very worried since Icy didn't come to sleep and no one has seen him since they talked to him. Irina. What if something bad happened to him? She said worriedly. Bekeno. We shouldn't have done that, now he's lost and I'm in great pain and it's all our fault, she said angrily. They all lowered their heads because what the brunette said was true. Asia. Bekeno, calm down please, Icy will appear soon, she said sadly. Briaz. Calm down, we all have to stay calm, the important thing is to find Icy, she said thoughtfully. Surzich. What's wrong with Icy? Wonderland. The boys were riding a bullet train while remaining silent. Say. What is this place called? He said while passing by a city that looked like Tokyo but combined with San Francisco. Mulin. San Francisco is the cradle of technology in Worlderland, she said calmly. Say. Wow, they are much more advanced than us, but changing the subject, Mulin, don't you remember anything from last night? He said, curious. Mulin. Well, after the celebration began you arrived at Chinatown and you invited me out. We went for a walk around different places. Then the albino Gil, I think his name is, got lost for a while and appeared just in time for our wedding. After that you left, but before that, Icy did a ritual to turn into a dragon, she said calmly. Say Dreg information about that, said curious. Dreg. It's something that some bearers have done and what it does to become a 100% dragon increases its power, he said calmly. Ella. So now I remember, you even gave me a box with something in it, she said, taking out a little box. Say. Let's see, these are my pawn pieces, he said taking out a piece. Greg. Wow, with a ritual you stopped being a deer of the Gremory, he said amazed. Say. I think it's for the best, he couldn't continue because a speaker spoke. Loudspeaker. Next stop Kingdom of Arendelle said in a robotic voice. Ella. It's our stop she said happily getting up from her seat. So the four of them defended themselves while looking at the kingdom which was quite beautiful. Say. Let's see where the hell he went he said curiously. Oh young Haidu, how good to see you said a man in an official suit. Say. Excuse me, but you know me he said surprised. Of course, young Gustav asked us that if any of his friends arrived, they should be taken immediately to the castle he said calmly. Say. I see, please guide us he said calmly. So after a few minutes the four of them arrived at the main hall of the castle. Maid. Young Gustav is in the master bedroom. I will call him right away she said calmly. Say. Don't worry, but I would like to go talk to you personally he said calmly while the maid nodded. In the main bedroom. I see. Gustav answers he said seriously but didn't answer. Angel. I've been through a lot already, I'm not going to wait he said opening the door where there was a brown-haired boy with two girls, one blonde and the other brown-haired. Say. But what the hell happened he said in shock. Gustav. Keep quiet, I want to sleep, but what the hell he said incredulously seeing the situation he was in. Angel. Damn lucky guy he said angrily while the black-haired girl hit him on the head. Gustav. Say Angel, my head is going through what's going on, how do I end up here? He said incredulously. Good morning love said the blonde getting up. Hello darling said the brunette between yawns. Gustav. Hey wait who are you? He said nervously. I am Elsa said the blonde. And me Anna said the brunette. Elsa Anna. Your wives they said happily. Gustav what he said in shock. Say. Another idiot who didn't know how he ended up married he said frustrated. Gustav. What are you talking about? He said incredulously. Say. You see an explanation later. Gustav. Then we got fed up and we don't know how we ended up here he said incredulously. Say. Basically but I see you had better luck too for one he said mockingly. Gustav. But this can't be, I can't be married, I'm still young he said nervously. Elsa. You can't do this to us, you said you would be with us for the rest of your life she said angry and on the verge of tears. Anna. Even on our wedding night we made Yuri for you while you watched she said angrily. Angel. You are sick Gustav he said with irony. Gustav. Wow, when I find out who the idiot of you was who brought drugs to this madness, I'm going to kill him he said angrily. Say. What kind of drug? He said incredulously. Gustav. From what little I remember, one of you came up to me and said this will set the mood and showed me a little bag with powder, but I can't remember who it was he said seriously. Say. Fine, I'll help you, but tell me what you'll do with them he said, moving away from the girls and Angel. Gustav. Say, you might be wondering why I agreed to come with you when I'm usually more reserved he said curiously. Say. Yes, I actually still can't believe you came he said seriously. Gustav. You see, 2 days ago I declared my love for Tsubaki Shinra, but she rejected me because she told me that I was a womanizer who loves to make fun of girls, and with this trip, I think she's right. I married 2 girls and now I regret it, but with them I'm going to fix everything he said calmly. Say. But that's a lie, you've never treated a girl badly, you even try to reject them as politely as possible he said curiously. Gustav. Well I don't know the truth, but I don't care. Listen girls, I want to be your husband, but first we have to find my friends he said calmly stretching out his hand, but at that moment a strange axe came flying. Angel. What a blowjob he said incredulously. Gustav. Wow what is this thing he said waving the axe. Elsa. It's the Stormbreaker she said calmly. Gustav. Okay, well now let's look for a clue to find the boys he said curiously. Anna. But your friend Jack is here with his wife, our cousin Rapunzel she said thoughtfully. I see Gustav Angel what? What happened yesterday? 3. I see. Jack is here, are you serious? He said incredulously. Anna. Yes, if you want, we'll go look for him she said calmly. Say. Please he said relieved. So the 7 of them went from room to room until they entered one where there was a black-haired man chatting happily with a girl with very long hair. Jack. So you and I are married he said amazed. Rapunzel. Yes, it was actually a double wedding since my cousins married your friend she said happily. Say. There you are he said seriously. Jack. Hey guys, come here, let me introduce you to my wife Rapunzel he said happily. Gustav. I think he's still drunk he said seriously. Jack. No, although I do have a horrible hangover he said holding his head. Angel. Well if that's the case you took the news that you're married pretty well he said incredulously. Jack. Well in our home I'm a lonely emo, and overnight I'm married to a beauty like her, what more could I ask for? He said calmly while the blonde blushed. Say. Well that doesn't matter, tell me do you remember anything that happened last night he said curiously. Jack. Yes, well, except for the fact of my wedding or our wedding. I remember that we left for Tokyo and we stopped at a gas station and bought some beers, and I don't remember well, but I think Gil put something white in the beers, he said thoughtfully. Gustav. Now I know who I'm going to kill, he said, raising the Stormbreaker. Issei. Don't be hasty, and what else do you remember, he said curiously. Jack. Well, we were already going crazy when out of nowhere a strange light brought us to Wonderland, I think that's what it's called, and we went to the Avengers Monument and a party started, and Bella told us that if we could go with a friend to a neighborhood that looked Japanese or Chinese, I don't remember well, she said calmly. Issei. Well, so far the story shows coherence, what more? He said, curious. Jack. Well, we went to a place very similar to a Greek temple where Issei challenged a certain Hercules to an arm wrestling contest and obviously won using the booster gear, he said funny. Issei. Really, he said in surprise. Gustav. If it's true, look, he said, showing a photo on his cell phone where the brown-haired boy was seen competing. Jack. Then we went to what looked like a universe or galaxy, and Gustav started an argument with someone called Star-Lord, but I don't remember why, he said thoughtfully. Bella. I do remember, she said happily. Flashback. In what appeared to be an outer space setting. Issei. Look, those idiots were no match for me, he said boasting. Hey, you can't be here, said a talking raccoon. Bill. Look at a talking rat, he said amused while everyone laughed. Angel. He's an idiot raccoon, he said mockingly. Star-Lord. Hey, who do you think you are to insult my partner? Said a serious brown-haired guy. Gustav. Hey, an animal protector, are you going to protest or demonstrate? He said mockingly. Star-Lord. Boy, you don't want to provoke me, he said seriously. Gustav. Come closer, old man, come closer, he said holding his axe. Gamora. How come they have Stormbreaker, she said she would be a green girl. Issei. Miss, we are the Avengers, he said mockingly. Gustav. So more respect, old man, he said mockingly. Then flashback. Bella. After that they argued for about 10 minutes until they both calmed down and started drinking, she said calmly. Issei. And then what happened, he said curiously. Jack. We went to a church, Issei got married, Angel cried, Gustav calmed him down, Gil got lost, I kept drinking, then we continued celebrating Issei's marriage, and after an hour, Gil came back and Angel got married, then I separated from everyone for a while, and I could see Gustav about to take the bullet train, and I went with him, we arrived at Arendelle. Then he disappeared from my sight and that's all, he said calmly. Rapunzel. I finished and he and I met, we talked for a while, and then he proposed to me, and when we got to the chapel, I found my cousins about to marry Gustav, and we agreed to a double wedding, and that's it, she said calmly. Issei. Well, that clarifies the situation, but where the hell is Gil, he said frustrated. Angel. And they already checked their pockets and cell phones, he said curiously. So the four of them checked, and there seemed to be nothing that could help. Gustav. Issei, I have the keys to your alarmed cry. Issei. What's wrong with you? He said seriously. At that moment the brown-haired boy showed them the keys stuck in a cut finger. Jack. Where the hell did you get that from? He said surprised. Gustav. I don't know, I don't even know why he had the keys, he said nervously. Angel. Hey, what if the finger is Gil's? He said nervously. Issei. Let's not think nonsense, there must be a logical explanation, he said nervously. Jack. First of all we have to know where the car is, he said nervously. Elsa. I think they won't like it, she said nervously. Gustav. Why not, he said curiously. The ice blonde pointed to a television where the brunette's car was on top of the fountain being lowered by a crane. Gustav. Whoever was driving the car was definitely insane, he said, amused. Issei. Where is it, he said curiously. Anna. She says it's near the English neighborhood where Bella lives, she said curiously. Issei. Come on, maybe we'll find a clue there, he said calmly. 20 minutes later. Issei. Say sorry, it's my car, he said seriously. Operator. You should be more careful when driving. They may be heroes, but that doesn't stop them from being irresponsible, he said seriously. Gustav. No, you don't know how sorry we are, but could you let us use the car, he said pleadingly. Operator. Okay, but this will be the last time, he said seriously. Issei. Thank you, he said relieved. So the four of them began to search the car. Issei. I only found beer containers, he said tiredly. Jack. Here is the drug or what's left of it, he said seriously. Angel. I found a pass for a tour of the prestigious Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, he said quietly. Gustav. I found a marriage certificate of Gil with a certain Jasmine, he said seriously. Bella. It's in the Indian neighborhood, he said calmly. I see. Going. Indian Quarter. Oh, but look who my son-in-law's friends have here, said a short man in a flashy suit. Bella. Hello Sultan, we came to pick up your son-in-law and your daughter, she said calmly. Sultan. Hey, what are you talking about if my son-in-law and my daughter went with you? He said seriously. Say. It's not possible, we already checked and he's not with us, he said seriously. Jack. Damn, where the hell did he get himself into? He said frustrated. Angel, where the hell he could be, and the worst thing is that he's lost with a girl, he said tiredly. Say. He doesn't remember how or where they went, he said seriously. Sultan. They left on the flying carpet, he said seriously. Angel. Maybe that way they could get to the car and leave a report, he said calmly. Gustav. The minutes, he said checking the paper. Say. What's wrong, he said surprised. Gustav. Follow me, I know where you can be, he said running towards the bullet train. On the train. Say. Now you can explain it to us, he said seriously. Gustav. Let's see, Angel said that they used the flying carpet to upload the marriage certificate to the car that was at the fountain and which is the closest house to the place, he said seriously. Say. The beautiful one, well, hours in that, he said seriously. Gustav. Look at the minutes, here it says that you and Bella are the witnesses, so they went to look for them at their house, that's where they should be, he said seriously. Bella. But there was no one else but us, she said in amazement. Gustav. Do they have a terrace or something similar? He said curiously. Bella. Yes, for I didn't continue because Icy interrupted her. Say. Oh my god, with the flying carpet they reached a terrace, he said incredulously. So everyone arrived and quickly went to the house, going up to the terrace where they found the albino boy hugging a brunette girl. Say, finally here you are, he said relieved. Bill. Hey what happened, he said without understanding. Angel. Calm down, it's a long story, he said more calmly. Gustav. Damn idiot, all this madness happened because of you, he said, launching himself against the albino. Jack. Hey, calm down, don't kill him, we have to see about the finger, he said, separating the black-haired man. Bill. Which finger? He said stretching out his hands with all his fingers. Say. So whose finger is that? He said curiously. Ring. The black-haired man's phone rang. Gustav. Hello, he said curiously. Star-Lord. Hi Gustav, it's me, Star-Lord. Hey, you have the finger I gave you. It belongs to a criminal who wants it back, he said, somewhat nervously. Gustav. Yeah, sure, here I have it, he said calmly. Star-Lord. Okay, see you later to take it, see you, he said hanging up. Gustav. Problem solved now, guys didn't have a gun or anything like that, he said curiously. Jack. Now that you mention it, I do have these clawed gloves and this mask, he said, showing off some black gloves and a feline-looking mask. Bill. And I have this shield, he said calmly. Gustav. Well, everything is perfect, but we have to think about how we will explain this to our families. Bill. They want to see the photos from last night, he said taking out a camera. Say. Once and then we will destroy the evidence. Let's be heroes. Say. It's true we don't know how they will react after finding out we're married, he said nervously. Jack. Well, we have a week to think about it, so in the meantime we will do it, he said curiously. Ella. We can go to Idacare, there are some beautiful beaches for surfing, she said happily. Say. Of course he couldn't continue because a humanoid-looking thing began to attack the city. Extra character. He's a tyrant, he said scared. Bill. But he is a tyrant, he said seriously. Jasmine. He is a human who fell under the curse of Cyrexes, becoming that creature, she said scared. Say. And how do they kill them? Don't tell me with some artifacts with which they swing from side to side and with 2 types of swords, he said curiously. Gustav. Yes, and then a crazy man comes shouting Tadiki and then bites his hand, he said mockingly. Say. Well, let's stop making fun of animes about boys without a mother, he said seriously. Gustav. Well, we need to stop him now, we need a plan, he said seriously. Say. I have a plan to attack, he said while Drake activated the balance breaker. Bill. I'm going to help him, he said starting to run with the other 2. Gustav. Always acting reckless, I don't understand how we are friends, he said amused, starting to run. Say. Get ready, it's time to die. Guo Academy Occult Club. Surzich. Let me see, you ended your relationship with Ice so that he would change his ways, and now he is missing, and the chess pieces are useless to track him, he said with a vein in his head. Riaz. Basically, she said sadly. Surzich. Please, how can you be so stupid? He said angrily. Riaz. No, we didn't know what to do, but now we are more than sorry, she said sadly. Surzich. But why didn't you ask Mrs. Haidu or our mother for advice? Even Grafia could have helped you to talk to Icy and tell him about his small defects, he said seriously. Riaz. We know, but Nai-sama, please help us, we want to find him, she said pleadingly. Surzich. I'll see what I can do, but if Icy decides to keep his distance from you, I'll let him do it. Wonderland. Say. Damn, that thing is really tough, he said angrily. Greg. You already tried to hit him in the chest, genius, he said seriously. Say. His chest because he said in pain. Greg. Maybe it's because of the bright red dot that seems to be exposed, he said angrily. Say. That's right guys, I need your hands to stay away from your chest, he said seriously. Jack. What do you have in mind? He said seriously. Say. The chest is his weak point, he said seriously. Gustav. I can stun him with lightning, he said raising his axe. Angel. Gil, help me with your shield to repel his arms, he said seriously. Gil. Let's do it, he said throwing the shield, and Angel threw an arrow. The weapons opened the giant's arms and at that moment the other brown-haired man attacked with a powerful ray. Say. Dragon shoot, he said determinedly launching a powerful attack piercing the creature's chest. Jack, haha, that's how it's done, he said happily. Elisa. You guys were phenomenal, she said happily. Mulin. It's true, normally those who protect the kingdom take 2 or 3 hours, and you took 10 minutes, she said calmly. Say. Great, we have to go back, he couldn't continue because a thunder fell in front of them. Tell me who was able to carry my father's Stormbreaker, said a blonde girl with armor and a hammer. Angel. And who are you, he said seriously. Thori. My name is Thori, daughter of Thor, god of thunder, son of Odin, father of all, she said proudly. Say. And why have you come, Thori, he said seriously without removing his armor. Thori. I came because I heard that someone was able to master Stormbreaker and the power of thunder, she said seriously. Gustav. It was me, he said showing the Stormbreaker. Thori. I demand that you give it to me, that weapon belongs to Asgard, he said it would be. Gustav. Then why did you never take it? Nobody would have stopped you because now, he said seriously. Thori. That matter does not concern you, just hand her over, he said, raising his hammer. Gustav. You can't really lift it, he said seriously. Thori. It's a lie, she said nervously. Say. Try it, he said seriously, while the other brown-haired boy stuck the axe into the floor. Thori. Okay, I'll take it, she said angrily, grabbing the handle of the axe, trying to lift it. Gustav. It seems that someone can't lift it, he said mockingly. Thori. Oh okay, my father and the rest of the Avengers dictated and put the spell that only someone worthy and destined to change the world will be able to use them, she said frustrated. Gustav. So if I can dominate her, why do you want to take her away from me, he said seriously. Thori. Well, because I am her daughter, why can't I use her? Because a simple human could do something that an Asgardian couldn't, she said annoyed. Because he knew that you could do great things with his legendary weapon, Mjolnir, said a black-haired man in green clothes. Thori. Uncle Loki, she said in surprise. Loki. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet the new Avengers, he said calmly. Say. Your name is Loki, he said in amazement. Loki. This is the current king of Asgard after the death of my father and the death of my brother with the rest of the Avengers, he said a little sad. Say. Wow, they are very different, he said calmly. Loki. Different, what do you mean? He said curiously. Say. Boo, well in my world there is another half-stupid Loki with dementia and a faggot, Loki said with a drop of sweat on his head. Loki. Wow, that's interesting, but well Thori, it's time to go, he said calmly. Thori. You better not stain my father's name, she said seriously looking at Gustav. So the Asgardians left while the boys looked at each other strangely. Say. I have to go see that Asgard, he said seriously. Gustav. Yes, Iron Man, then we will go to that place, but where are we going now? He said seriously. Jack. How about we go to that magic school Hogwarts, I think, he said curiously. Angel. Hey, I'd like to learn magic, he said thoughtfully. Bill. And then we go to those beaches of Idacare, he said calmly. Gustav. I support that idea, he said calmly. Say. Okay. Location unknown. So there are new heroes now, they are nothing more than a farce, girls, it's time to show them our power. The magic school. The boys were on the bullet train on their way to the magical school of Hogwarts. Say. Girls, what do you know about that school? He said curiously. Mulin. The basics, a school that teaches magic, she said calmly. Elsa. Well, I know that the school is divided into 4 houses in honor of its founders, and the director is called Albus Dumbledore, the most powerful wizard, she said calmly looking at the landscape. Say. Wow, what are those houses? He said intrigued. Anna. I say they are Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, she said calmly. Jack. Wow, if we had more time I would like to study at that school, he said thoughtfully. Bella. In fact, if you can, they give you a wand and a book of spells and positions, and you have to sign a contract where you release the school from any accident caused by using magic, she said thoughtfully, while Icy and the others looked at each other. Gustav. Don't even think about it, he said seriously. Angel. Oh come on Gustav, don't be a party pooper, he said a little angry. Bill. I support you, you never want to do fun things, you always follow the rules, he said mockingly. Gustav. Tell me just one time when you did what you wanted and it turned out well, he said seriously. Say. The time we made a racing circuit with lawnmowers when we were 8, no one got hurt, he said proudly. Gustav. And what happened to the lady's cat? The poor thing no longer grew hair, he said with a twitch in his eye. Ill. True, but what about the science experiment in high school, he said seriously. Gustav. They evacuated the school and we didn't have classes for 2 months, he said with a twitch in his eye. Angel. The trip to Denmark, he said timidly. Gustav. Seriously, Icy and Gil are banned from traveling to Denmark for life, she said angrily. Say. Well, you win, every time you don't stop us, things end up going terribly for us, he said dejectedly. Gustav. Let's see how school is, and if you promise not to try anything stupid, I'll let you practice magic, he said seriously with a hand on his temple. Guys. We promise, they said quickly. Gustav. It wasn't our parents saying that we were going to go to a school conversation because they even pretended to be sick, he said heavily. Elsa. You're like an older brother, she said amused. Gustav. Well, I think that's right. I'm the oldest by my standards, so I have that responsibility, he said calmly. Announcer. Next station Hogwarts, he said simply. Say. We finally arrived, he said excitedly, seeing an imposing castle. So the 11 of them got off the train and started walking across a bridge. It is an honor to have the new Avengers in our school, said a rather older woman. Say. This is how they will receive us in all the places we go, he said amazed. Gustav. Shut up, be respectful, nice to meet you, ma'am, he said politely. McGonagall, Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress and Professor of Hogwarts, she said respectfully. Jack. Nice to meet you, Professor McGonagall, we came here to be in the magic practice program outside of school, he said respectfully. McGonagall. And why haven't you thought about studying magic at Hogwarts, she said curiously. Say. We would love to, but with the idea of being heroes, we don't want to interrupt other people's studies due to an emergency situation, he said sadly. McGonagall. Well, it seems logical to me, and I see that all 11 are capable of using magic, she said calmly. Say. How do you know? He said curiously. McGonagall. It's what takes many years of experience that helps me know who can use a level of magic and who can't, and you are people with amazing levels, so follow me, she said calmly. Thus began a tour throughout the school, seeing the classrooms and classrooms of different grades, not going unnoticed by some women who looked at them with lustful eyes, making the girls angry, as well as a pig with 3 rings in the sky. Bill. What is that? He said curiously, pointing at the rings. McGonagall. This is a Quidditch field, a game where you have to get balls into 3 hoops, each ball has a different value. One is saved by the golden snitch. If the seeker gets it, the game ends and his team wins, he said, showing a golden sphere. Say. Wow, that sounds fun, he said in disbelief. McGonagall. Well, let's continue, she said calmly. But we have visitors here, said an elderly man. McGonagall. Professor Dumbledore, she said in amazement. Dumbledore. The new heroes of this world, it's a pleasure to have you here and I hope you enjoy the tour, he said as he began to walk. Say. Wow, just by looking at him I felt great respect towards the great man, he said in amazement. McGonagall. Well, let's continue, it's time to get your wands and your house because even if you don't study here you need a house, he said seriously. So the boys came to a chamber where there was a rather calm man. McGonagall. First we go with the assignment of houses, he said holding a hat that began to speak. Say, Bella and Gil. Gryffindor. Jasmine, Mulan. Slytherin. Elsa, Gustav and Rapunzel. Ravenclaw. Anna, Jack and Angel. Hufflepuff. McGonagall. Good morning, Ollivander, we have come to get 11 wands and the same number of spell books, boxes and potion books, she said calmly. Ollivander. I see, here are the boxes and the books, but guys, come closer, I need to know what kind of wands you need, he said calmly. So each one approached while Ollivander gave one to each of the boys, only Icy was missing. Bella. Gustav. Elsa. Anna. Angel. Mulan. Bill. Jasmine. Jack. Rapunzel. Ollivander. This is an unprecedented case. I have never seen anyone with this wand before, he said, retreating to the deepest part of the room. Say. Sue, something's wrong, he said nervously. Ollivander. For many years this wand did not obey a wizard, the only one who could use it was Albus Dumbledore himself until he left it, saying that a new wizard would arrive one day. Today is that day, he said seriously, taking a box. Say. And he thinks it's me, he said surprised. Ollivander. I don't think so, I'm sure, he said seriously. Say. And what is that wand, he said curiously. Ollivander. The Elder Wand. They're just girls. Say. And what is that Elder Wand, he said curiously. McGonagall. It's the most powerful wand in the world, she said somewhat nervously. Issei held the wand, and a great pressure was felt in the environment. Jack. Now that's power, he said surprised. Ollivander. Okay, now go get your things, but sign the contract where you release Hogwarts from all responsibility for your actions, he said seriously. So the boys happily signed the contract, receiving their books, a box of supplies, and another box. Gustav. And what about the other box, he said curiously. Ollivander. It's a box that has antidotes and other objects that can reverse all kinds of spells, she said calmly. Gustav. Okay, thanks, he said leaving with his companions. Already outside the school. McGonagall. I hope you enjoyed the tour and I hope to see you soon, she said calmly. Professor McGonagall, who will be in the exam, said a girl with brown hair accompanied by two others, a redhead and an albino. McGonagall. Miss Granger, I'll take care of you in a moment, said the woman calmly. Who are they, said the redhead. They are the new heroes of Wonderland, Miss Weasley, said a black-haired woman. You are right, Professor Lestrange, said an Asian-looking girl. But they didn't cause damage in different places, said the blonde. Issei. Yes, it was an accident and we are sorry, he said sadly. McGonagall. Don't worry, but I present to you the best student Hermione Granger and other outstanding students, such as Luna Lovegood, Ginny Weasley and Cho Chang, as well as Professor Bellatrix Lestrange, he said politely. Issei. Nice to meet you, man, he couldn't continue because he got tense. Hermione. Something's wrong, she said confused. Luna. Something is coming, she said looking at the sky. Ooh. The loud bang shook the place. Issei. Teacher, go girls, go with him, he said, activating his gauntlet. Gustav. Issei, what's wrong, he said preparing his Stormbreaker. Issei. It's a dark energy, he said seriously. Hello, you must be the new Avengers, said a voice from where the explosion occurred. Issei. Who are you, he said seriously. Why so serious, we just came to have fun, right girls, said a red-haired girl, along with other girls in black outfits and a dark presence. Jack. Who are they and what do they want? He said taking out his claws and mask. We are the bad and pretty, and we came to play, he said amused while the five of them attacked the boys. Each of the girls was frantically attacking each boy. Hongil. The boy was trying to stop the attacks of an orange-haired girl who was launching strong explosive attacks. Sunny. Wow, you are a disgrace to carry that shield, she said, looking at the boy on the ground. Bill, shut up, he said standing up throwing the shield. Sunny. He's just a kid who took something that doesn't belong to him, she said, slamming him against the floor. Bill. I won't let you humiliate me, he said, starting to hit her, sending her flying. Jack. This one was dodging rays from a somewhat cute-looking blonde. Peace. Come on, stop moving, will you? She said, raising a pout. Jack. You won't beat me that easily, he said approaching and scratching the girl. Peace. You hurt me, said the girl crying. Jack. Who did I have to face? He said with a drop of sweat on his head. Gustav. Beauty. In the cold of battle I will show all my beauty to obtain victory, said a blue-haired girl. Gustav. I have nothing against that, but you know that you won't beat me that easily, he said, beginning to emit rays. Beauty. I hope so, bearer of Stormbreaker, he said with an ice sword. Gustav. Let's do it, he said, launching himself at her. Causing lightning and ice shards to fly out. Gustav. This was what I wanted, a battle to feel alive. With Angel. The boy with the bow was trying to aim an arrow at a green-haired girl who was moving at high speed. March. What is the best thing you have? You are nothing, he said jumping and creating a sphere of energy and throwing it against the blue-haired man. Angel. Don't think you're the best, he said, getting up in pain. March. I hope you're ready to die. With Issei. The brown-haired boy with his booster gear gave the pink-haired girl a tough battle. Happy. Why don't you use your armor, otherwise it will be boring, she said calmly. Issei. If you want it, you will have it, he said seriously. Greg. I'm ready, buddy, he said seriously. Issei. Deploy the Iron Man armor, he said seriously, deploying a fairly modern armor. Issei. Get ready, he said starting to fly and attack with everything. Happy. You won't defeat me, she said angrily. Issei. I don't care, I'll beat you and protect people from you, he said launching several attacks at the same time. Happy. No, I won't be defeated, she said trying to resist the attack. The blow hit the girl's chest, destroying her gem and changing her appearance. I see what happened, she said confused. Issei. Guys, aim for the chest gem, he said seriously. Boys. Understood, they said seriously. Gustav. Beauty. It's over, she said creating many snowflakes. Gustav. I think the same, he said throwing his axe. The blue-haired girl's attacks were destroyed by the axe that was stuck in the girl's chest, breaking the gem. Gustav the First did it. With Angel. He was on his knees while the girl had an energy sphere ready to fire. March die, he said, pointing at the boy. Angel. I won, he said, throwing an arrow that hit the girl in the chest. Angel in the white. Han Jack. Jack. I already have your weak point, say goodbye, he said, running towards the girl. Peace. You won't do it, he said it would be. Jack. Too late, he said, breaking the gem with a straight cut. Han Gil. This one was in a very even fight with the orange-haired girl. Bill, okay, I give up, he said, getting on his knees. Sonny. Your place is looking at my feet, she said confidently. Bill. Not today, he said, getting up quickly and with the shield breaking the gem. More or less like this. After that the boys met up with the 5 girls who looked confused. Say. Who are they, he said seriously. Happy. We are, he couldn't continue because they were covered in light and turned into little girls. Boys. Girls. We are in trouble. Say. But what happened, he said in disbelief at what had just happened. Elsa. Guys, where are the bad and pretty, she said, arriving with the others. Gustav. Wait, do you know them? He said, surprised. Anna. Of course they are a group of Class A supervillains, she said worriedly. Bill. Seriously, they weren't that hard to beat, he said, pointing at the girls. Mulin. What about the girls, she said, thinking it was all a joke. Angel. They are the villains, he said seriously. Jasmine. I really can't believe it, she said, shocked. Girls or not, they will be taken to prison, said a woman with a military appearance. Say. And who are you? He said seriously. Cammy. My name is Cammy, head of the Wonderland Police Sub-Department, and those girls are coming with me, she said it would be. Rapunzel. Really, but they are just girls, she said angrily. Cammy. That doesn't matter, they are still criminals, she said while taking out some handcuffs. While the police were arguing with Icy and the others, the little blue-haired girl approached Gustav. Ryika. Dad, I'm hungry, said the blue-haired girl pulling the brown-haired boy's foot. Gustav. He said confused. Cammy. I don't care if they are heroes, but they will come with me, she said seriously. Gustav. And what if they remain in our custody, he said, capturing everyone's attention. Say. Are you sure, he said curiously. Miyuki. Dad, can we eat? I'm hungry, said the pink-haired girl hugging the brown-haired boy's foot. Say. I think I'm daddy, what do you think, Bella, he said, lifting the little girl while Bella smiled happily. Cammy. It's okay only if everyone accepts that commitment, she said, looking at the other 3. Angel. If Mulin doesn't see a problem, I don't see why not, he said calmly, caressing the green-haired girl. Now. Yes, it's true, mommy, she said, hugging the brunette who just nodded. Bill. What do you think, Jack, he said, looking at the little orange-haired girl. Jack. Well, I don't see any problem, he said, lifting the little blonde. Bill. Okay, there you go, Miss Cammy, we all take this responsibility, he said calmly. The retirement officer as the girls hugged their new daughters. Yaoi. Daddy, why does Ryika have 2 moms? Said the little blonde. Jack. Well, it's because his dad is in a relationship with 2 people at the same time, he said, a little uncomfortable about the question. The Kane. Dad, you will have 2 wives, she said, looking at Gil. Bill. No, well, I don't know, he said nervously at the look it would be Jasmine's. Say. Come on girls, stop asking those kinds of questions because we're not going to eat, he said, trying to calm the atmosphere. Girls. Yes. 4 days later. The boys have had a great time having fun and enjoying this mini vacation. Gustav. Oh my god, he said worried. Say. Now that, he said tired. Angel. The gentleman rules now, what happens, he said calmly. Gustav. You smart people have started to think about how we will return home, he said seriously. Jack. Through the portal we came through, he said nonchalantly. Gustav. Idiots, that was a failure between dimensions, and that can rarely happen in periods of 4 or 6 years, he said seriously, leaving everyone in shock. Bill. You're saying we'll be stuck here for that long, he said in shock. Gustav. Now they think we are in trouble. The XD world. The girls are quite desperate since Icy has not given any signs of life, even the boys' parents told them that they had gone to Tokyo, but they did not find a trace of the brown-haired boy there. Sona. They are idiots, she said, looking at Riaz seriously. Riaz. Enough is enough, they've already told me and I know I was stupid to make that decision, she said sadly. Sona. And you want my help to find it, she said it would be. Riaz. That's right, please, I'm desperate. Besides, tomorrow there will be a meeting of factions, and if he doesn't show up, the alliance with the Olympians won't be possible because they defeated the Sekiryu in it, she said worriedly. Sona. Of course the important thing is the meeting, he said ironically. Riaz. Claw, of course not, I miss him, the bed feels so empty without him, she said sadly. Sona. Riaz, let's be honest, you wanted Icy to stop being perverted and you and Asia slept naked with him, plus the rest acted provocatively, I mean it's illogical, she said it would be. Riaz. I think you're right. I know I made a mistake and I'm going to fix it. Wonderland. Bella. Issei calm down, said the brunette sitting playing with the little girl. Issei. Bella, you don't understand, we must return to our world he said nervously. Mulan. They want so desperately a way to return to their world because they want to leave us she said angry and sad. Angel. Mulan, don't say that. We just want to go back home to explain to our families that we are parents and that we are married he said seriously. Rapunzel. Not counting the fact that they are heroes she said calmly. Jack. Yes, but girls, please, don't you know of any way to return to our world? He said pleadingly. Jasmine. No, actually, because the existence of other worlds seemed almost impossible to us she said it would be while the girls nodded. Elsa. Actually there may be a way she said thoughtfully. Gustav. Which one he said curiously. Elsa. I will tell you but if you promise me something she said it would be. Gustav. What a thing he said curiously. Elsa. That we go to that world she said it would be. Issei. For what or what he said confused. Elsa. So we can meet our in-laws she said it would be while the girls nodded. Gustav. Even if we wanted to, we couldn't, we have to go back by car and there's only room for 5 people he said seriously. Anna. And they use the cars we gave them she said angrily. Issei. What are you talking about he said surprised. Jasmine. On your wedding night you asked us for a car as a gift so we bought one for each of you, they are even in the garage of Elsa's castle she said calmly. Eyes. Seriously. So everyone went to Arendelle Castle and went to a garage where they found 5 beautiful cars. Issei. Gustav. Angel. Jack. Bill. Issei. Wow, this is really impressive he said looking at his car. Elsa. So we will go with you or not she said she would. Gustav. I accept, they will come with us, but how will we return he said seriously. Elsa. We will go to the most powerful sorcerer, he knows about these matters of other worlds she said it would be. I see. Dumbledore he said in disbelief. Elsa. I said sorcerer, not magician she said would be. Gustav. Okay, who is that sorcerer? He said seriously. Elsa. Doctor Strange. Return. The 5 vehicles were quickly approaching some kind of temple. Issei. This is the place said through screen. Elsa. Right, that's Doctor Strange's temple. The XD World Haidu residence. The girls were more than nervous since if Icy did not appear they would have to say why he disappeared. Akeno. Come on, it will be a good idea, you'll see if it works she said ironically and angrily. Zenobia. Akeno, that's enough, we understand your anger, but we must concentrate on how to find him, said the blue-haired girl angrily and sadly. Akeno. Of course now if you don't have to look for it and you try to cover yourself with that after you were the one with that stupid idea she said furiously. Riaz. The 2 of you are enough, it's no longer time to fight. Wonderland Sanctuary of Strange. Everyone got out and entered the place that seemed to be empty. What do you want? Said a bald man activating a kind of magic circles in his hands. Issei. Stop, we're not looking for trouble he said, standing on guard in front of his wife. Stop Wong, they have no evil intentions, said a man with a cape. Issei. I imagine you are Doctor Strange he said more calmly. Doctor Strange. That's right, I'm Dr. Stephen Strange, nice to meet you young Avengers he said calmly. Issei. The pleasure is ours, I am he couldn't continue because Strange interrupted him. Doctor Strange. I know who I see Haidu, Gustav Bizarius, Jack Reacre, Angel Saddam and Gil Yagami are, beings from another dimension he said seriously. Bill. Wow, you know about us, that's impressive, and tell me what else you do besides investigating people he said, curious. Doctor Strange. Protected your animal reality he said seriously. Issei. I'm sorry about that behavior, he's he said nervously. Doctor Strange. Stupid if it was to be expected he said calmly. Gustav. Excuse me, Mr. Strange, if you knew our names and such things, you know why we are here he said calmly. Doctor Strange. It's correct, they come to find a way to return to their world and if I have the way he said calmly. Issei. Could you help us? He said nervously. The R. Strange. Because I should do it he said curiously. Jack. Hey, why don't you want to help us? He said seriously. The R. Strange. What I'm saying is that I don't have a reason to help them she said calmly. Bill. Listen, little Magus, don't make us act rude he said, taking out his shield. Doctor Strange. Please believe that you can beat me. I met the Avengers and you are not even a shadow of them he said seriously. Issei. You leave us no other choice he said summoning his booster gear. Gustav. Enough, stop acting like idiots. Doctor Strange could tell us how we could get his help, he said seriously. Doctor Strange. Wow, someone who uses common sense, tell me why you are different from them, he said seriously. Gustav. I simply analyze and avoid conflict before using force, but if necessary I will use it, he said seriously. Doctor Strange. I understand well, I will help you, he said, starting to walk. The stunned boys began to follow the doctor without answering, arriving at a room with 4 doors, not counting the one they entered. Doctor Strange. In your world there are 4 sanctuaries that protect your world, each door still has a sanctuary in your world, New York, London, Shanghai and Tokyo, enter it and you will be in your world, and if you want to return use them, but don't tell anyone, he said seriously. Issei. Fine, but how are we going to do it with the vehicles? He said nervously. Doctor Strange. That is already resolved and you are warned that you cannot reveal this information, he said seriously. Issei. Thank you very much, he said, running out the door with everyone else. The XD World, Tokyo, Japan. The boys left the sanctuary without first explaining to the Guardian the reason for their arrival. Issei. That Strange is really into everything, he said, seeing the cars outside the sanctuary. Gustav. Let's not waste time, he said, getting into the car. Issei. It's time to run. 3 hours later. Haidu residence. Asia. Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? She said curiously, looking at the Haidu arriving with 4 other couples. Mr. Haidu. Issei asked us all to gather here, he said seriously. Asia. Issei asked for them, she said happily, rushing off to the rooms. Riaz. Asia, what's going on? She said, surprised when she saw the blonde enter the room. Asia. Issei is coming soon, she said happily. Riaz. What, are you serious? She said in shock. Asia. If Dad told me, I'll tell the others, she said while leaving the place. 6 minutes later. The girls and their parents were sitting in the large living room, waiting for the arrival of the brunette who appeared when they saw the lights of the car. Riaz. It's here, she said in a whisper. Issei. Hello everyone, he said, entering with the others. This is Haidu. Haidu. Issei. Tell me where the hell you were these last few days, he said. It would be while the girls had the desire to pounce on him. Mr. Saddam. And you are not saved from this, he said, while the rest of the parents looked at them seriously. Gustav. You see, it's a very, very long story, but first we'd like to introduce you to some people, he said nervously. At that moment the girls entered with the little ones. Riaz. And who are they? She said curiously and angry. Bella. Nice to meet you, I'm Bella, and this is Miyuki, she said, holding the little girl and standing next to Icy. Elsa. I am Elsa, she said calmly. Anna. I'm Anna and this is Riika, she said, taking the blue-haired girl, and together with her sister, they stood next to the other brown-haired girl. Mulan. I am Fa Mulan, and this is Now, she said calmly, going with Angel. Rapunzel. I'm Rapunzel and this is Yaoi, she said happily, standing next to Jack. Irina. That's a lot of hair, she said, impressed. Jasmine. Nice to meet you, I'm Jasmine and this is Akane, she said, imitating the others, but with Gil. Mr. Bizarius. Nice to meet you, but what do they have to do with this? He said seriously. Issei. Very easy, they are our wives and our daughters. Hectic meeting. Everyone was in shock after what the boy said. Girls' parents, what the hell, they shouted in disbelief. Riaz. I see, tell me, please tell me this is a joke, she said, wanting to cry like the rest. Issei. I'm sorry Miss Gremory, but it's true, he said seriously, causing pain in the redeed. Parents. Vivaya, they all said with joy. Boys. Nani, they said in surprise. Haidu. I am so happy that our children are all grown up now, he said with tears of joy along with the other parents. Haidu. And look at those beautiful girls, today you are my granddaughter, she said while the other mothers looked at the girls. Gustav. Wow, I never imagined they would react that way, he said with a drop of sweat on the back of his neck. Issei. Yes, it's quite strange, he said, the same as the other brown-haired boy. Haidu. Issei, why is Gustav with 2 girls if the one who wanted that harem was you, she said calmly. Gustav. I'm so proud, she said happily. Issei. It was a long story, he said nervously. Haidu. Come on girls, come in and sit down, we want to meet you, he said happily. Princesses. Hi, they said, entering the living room. Riaz. Issei, why did you do that? She said with tears along with the others. Issei. Guys, leave me alone with them, he said heavily. The boys nodded and left with their wives. Issei. What are you talking about, Miss Gremory? He said seriously. Riaz. What am I talking about? That you got married, that you have a daughter even though you are with us, she said reproachfully. Issei. Excuse me, if I remember correctly, you and I do not have any kind of relationship, or is it that you do not remember, he said with a serious look. Riaz. No wait, we wanted to explain to you how she couldn't continue, because Icy interrupted her. Issei. It's late, I don't care what's done, it's done. If you want to return the house to normal, do it, I don't care he said seriously, starting to walk, leaving the girls in tears. Akeno. This is what you wanted, I hope you are happy, she shouted angrily and started running to her room. Rias. We were stupid. The next day. The boys were gathered outside the chestnut tree's house. Gustav. You want us to do that, he said in disbelief. Issei. I want you to accompany me to the faction meeting to help me if things get difficult because of the girls, he said seriously. Bill. I think it will be fun, but the fact that you no longer belong to any faction would be more worrying, he said curiously. Gustav. We'll take the girls, he said curiously. Issei. I don't think so, for your safety, he said calmly. Jack. Well, I'm in, he said taking out his claws. Gustav. Me too, he said seriously. Bill Angel. We do too, they said determinedly. Issei. Okay, let's go. Gu Club Academy of Occultism. We see all the faction leaders gathered together with the most beautiful angel of all, Barakiel, Kuno, Thor DXD, and the Gremory clans, Citri and Ravel. Zeus. Lucifer, where is the Securitate, he said seriously. Surzich. I don't know, Rias, where I see is, he said seriously looking at the redeed. Rias. He she said nervously. Issei. Here I am, sorry for the delay, he said calmly entering with the boys. Surzich. Hello, I see, he said curiously. Shiva. Young Securitate, tell me, what are you doing bringing humans to this meeting, he said seriously. Issei. They are my friends and they know everything about supernatural beings, he said seriously. Zeus. But that is forbidden, he said angrily. Issei. It would be, but they have a great amount of power, both magical and physical, he said seriously. Thor. I doubt those kids are powerful, he said arrogantly. Gustav. Do you really believe that, false god? He said in a challenging way. Thor. Brat, how dare you offend a god, he said angrily. Gustav. Bring your little hammer, let's see who wins, he said taking out his Stormbreaker. Odin. What is that weapon, he said nervously. Issei. Gustav, calm down, he said nervously since he didn't recognize his friend. Michael. Boo, well, if they know about us I don't see any problem, so why don't we start the meeting, he said, trying to calm the atmosphere. Issei. Oh, that's right, I want to clarify two things before starting the meeting, he said calmly. Azazel. What things, I see, he said curiously. Issei. The first is that any kind of relationship with the Gremory entourage is broken, including the engagement with Ria's Gremory, he said seriously, leaving everyone surprised, causing great pain in the girls. Surzich. I see, are you sure, he said in shock. Issei. More than ever, and the second thing is that I no longer belong to the Gremory clan, and I am no longer a demon, therefore I cannot be in this meeting, he said seriously, putting the box where the pieces were, leaving everyone in shock. Ajuka. I am possible no one can free themselves from the evil pieces, said in shock. Issei. Well, without further ado, I'm leaving, he said seriously. Zeus. Securitate awaits, he said with a firm voice. Issei. What does God Zeus want, he said curiously. Zeus. Now you are free from ties, why don't you join my faction, he said calmly, leaving everyone in shock. Gabriel. You're crazy, I see, he deserves to be in heaven with me, she said somewhat blushing. Seraphol. I see was a demon, he must return with us, and if you don't want to be with the Gremorys, why don't you become my peace and partner, she said in a flirtatious way. So everyone argued to get the brown-haired boy, well, he looked at the situation in disbelief. Gustav. They really want you by force, he said with a drop of sweat on his head. Issei. I think so, he said mockingly. Jack. Don't you think we should take advantage of the distraction to get out of here? He said curiously. Issei. I don't think I have an idea, he said amused. Jack. Now what crazy idea did you come up with? He said curiously. Issei. Listen to me, shouted, getting everyone's attention. Surzich. Issei, what's wrong, he said seriously. Issei. Everyone wants me to join their faction, right? He said seriously. Leaders. Yes, they said like fools. Issei. Well, why don't we do a raiding game, the five of us, against a warrior from each faction, not counting leaders obviously, and in the case of the demons, there will be a representative for Surzich and another for Seraphol. If they win, I will join the faction that defeats the last of us, he said seriously. Zeus. And what do you gain? He said curiously. Issei, my freedom. Avengers vs Alliance 1-2. Everyone was thoughtful at what the brown-haired boy had said. Surzich. But if my warrior wins you will return to be my sister's fiancé, he said seriously. Issei. Okay, but now that I see it, there are 9 warriors against us because they won't let us bring one more member to the team, he said seriously. Shiva. There are 8 of us, I won't participate. I just wanted to know if I can count on your help if there is a dangerous situation, he said seriously. Issei. Of course I don't see a problem then in 8 versus 6 he said curiously. Leaders. Okay they said in unison. Issei. Well, it will be in a week he said seriously leaving the place. Outside the school. Jack. Issei, do you think we can defeat them? The black-haired man asked seriously. Issei. Of course, if we combine magic and our weapons we can be almost invincible he said calmly. Gustav. That could work but tell me who that sixth member will be. I don't think it will be one of the girls he said seriously. Issei. Don't worry, I have it covered, but now the most important thing is that you improve your control with magic he said, activating his armor. Angel. Where are you going he said curiously. Issei. I'll go tell our reinforcements, tell Bella that I'll be back later he said as he flew away. Bill. Now that you are planning. 4 hours later. Wonderland Avengers Monument. Issei. Then I can count on your support for this he said seriously. Of course said the animated person. Issei. Well, I'll see you at Doctor Strange's shrine on Sunday morning he said calmly. Understood, I won't let you down. 2 hours later. We see the brown-haired boy returning home and finding everyone gathered with a somewhat serious look. Issei. What's going on he said curiously. Gustav. The girls are angry because they think that in that raiding game they could kill us he said calmly. Elsa. That's right, we don't know if the boys' lives are in danger she said it would be. Issei. Believe me, the life that is in danger is that of the warriors of the factions he said seriously. Mulan. How do you know? She said curiously. Issei. Just by seeing how worried Auden was when he saw the Stormbreaker, it's more than clear that they are not prepared for what we are capable of he said seriously. Bella. But if something happens to them she said worried. Issei. Don't worry, everything will be fine, I assure you, but I don't think you should leave, there's school tomorrow he said calmly. Jack. Hey, if it's true, let's go he said, standing up. Issei. See you tomorrow. So everyone left the chestnut tree with his wife and daughter so they could go to sleep later. 1 week later. Throughout that week the boys were practicing their magic and improving their combat skills, as well as causing a stir at school, since the princesses were always waiting for them. Underworld Raiding Game Stadium. Angel. Issei, where is our reinforcement he said curiously. Issei. He is in position, we will appear in the same place, and he in a different one he said seriously. Bill. You're not lying and you didn't find anyone or maybe you did he said seriously. Issei. No, of course I don't give them my word he said calmly. Raphia. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the raiding game that will decide the future of the Sekiryuute. On this day, the Avengers will face the Alliance he said it would be showing both teams being transported to the arena while in the audience, there were all kinds of supernatural beings supporting their champion. Issei. So it's Ergen Razor for the demons, Dulio for the angels, Barakiel for the fallen, Keb for the Egyptians, Gorop for the Yakes, Ares for the Olympians, and Thor for the Asgardians he said seriously. Raphia. Are you ready, start. She said it would be. Issei. The 8 of them are coming straight away, so why don't we welcome them? He said, taking out his wand. Boys. Bombard Maxima they said seriously causing a huge explosion hitting the Supernaturals full force. Just imagine it was all 5. Surzich. What did they do? He said incredulously. Issei. Well, who do you choose? He said seriously. Gustav. Don't even ask he said launching himself at Thor. Jack. Leave me that blonde he said activating his suit and launching himself against Razor. Bill. I'm going against that old man he said seriously going against Barakiel. Angel. Leave me the angel he said seriously. Issei. Well, I'm going against Keb Goropares and Saraerg he said seriously. With Gustav. Beast began a brutal attack against the god. Gustav. You like it he said without stopping hitting him. Thor. Ma damn brat how dare you I am Thor god of thunder he said, releasing a few and throwing them at the boy. Auden. I finished it he said confidently. Gustav. Do you think that would hurt me? He said raising his Stormbreaker and starting to release thunder. Or impossible he said incredulously. Gustav. This is thunder. Hongil. He was dodging and blocking several spears of light coming from the fallen one. Barakiel. Give up brat so I can go against Issei and return to my little girl he said without starting to attack. Bill. Never he said throwing his shield stunning the fallen one and starting to hit him. Bill. Your daughter does not deserve my friend's forgiveness. With Angel. He maintained an exchange of attacks with arrows and spears of light. Angel. Tell me what you gain from this he said, firing another arrow. Dulio. I do it for the happiness of Miss Gabriella he said seriously. Angel. Oh, and if she loved him so much, why didn't she come to fight? He asked seriously. Dulio. She doesn't have to be on a battlefield if it's not necessary he said seriously. Angel. What a pity, then he suffers for her. Han Jack. The Panther was giving serious and deep courtesies to the Phoenix who, despite his regeneration, could not confront the boy since his flames did not affect him. Razor. Damn human, how is it possible that I can't hurt you? He said frustrated. Jack. My suit is extremely resistant, do you think that some simple flames would hurt me? He said mockingly, kicking him. Razor. Don't make fun of me, he said angrily. Jack. Well, let's finish this. With Icy. He was in a very tough battle as he faced 4 enemies at once, and even with his balance breaker, it was getting complicated. Ares. Surrender Sekiruite and accept that you will be part of the Olympians, he said, holding his spear. Gorop. You're joking, he'll be a yokai, he said angrily while pointing a sword. Heb. He will be an Egyptian, he said seriously. Sarerg. You're crazy, he'll still be a demon, and he'll be with my cousin, he said with his armor activated. Issei. Well, decide who I'm going to be with, he said deactivating his helmet. Warriors. With me, they said seriously. Issei. You know I'm tired. Hey kid, he said loudly as a shadow passed over the enemies and tied their hands and took away others' weapons. Hello everyone. Avengers vs Alliance 2-2. Everything fell silent after the sudden appearance of that boy. Angel. And who is that? He said confused. Jack. Now everyone wants attention, he said without stopping attacking. Gustav. As long as I'm ready to fight it doesn't matter, he said throwing his axe. Surzich. But what the hell, didn't they say they were only humans, he said looking at the Grimoire. Sona. They weren't lying, they're humans, she said confused. Auden. Yes, of course, that's why one of them is more of a god of thunder than the god of thunder, he said, annoyed. Back to battle. Issei. Well done Spider-Man, he said mockingly. Spider-Man. Mr. Haidu, now what do I do? He said while hitting each of the enemies. Issei. Well, choose one of them and concentrate on him until you defeat him, he said seriously. Spider-Man. Understood, I choose the Egyptian, he said pulling the god. Issei. Perfect, but one more thing, he said seriously. Spider-Man. Tell me, he said calmly. I see, I'm icy. On Gustav. Thor. Damn you, I will defeat you, he said throwing his Mjolnir. The brown-haired boy stopped Mjolnir with Stormbreaker. Gustav. It's a very interesting weapon, do you mind if I use it? He said, raising it as if it were nothing. Auden. How can you lift the Mjolnir, he said shocked like everyone else. Gustav. Now I can rule Asgard, he said happily. Thor. Impossible, he said incredulously. Gustav. Well, I'm bored now, he said launching an attack using the Mjolnir and his axe hitting the Asgardian squarely. Grafia T. Thor has been eliminated, she said in shock. With Angel. He grew tired of a long-distance battle and began fighting hand to hand. Angel. Believe me, this hurts me more than it hurts you, he said, hitting an arrow in the head. Julio. How he is that a simple human is at the level of a supernatural being, he said, while receiving shocks from the arrow. Angel. Never underestimate your opponent, rule number 1 of combat, he said calmly. Grafia Dulio has been eliminated, she said, surprising the people even more. Han Jack. This one was already bored on top of the Phoenix who for some reason was no longer healing. Jack. Hey, you really can't regenerate anymore, he said bored. Razor. Damn human like a high-class demon, and from the prestigious Phoenix clan loses against you, he said furiously. Jack. You're just a simple weakling, it's not difficult to defeat you, you're just a poor loser who without his regeneration is nothing, goodbye, he said, throwing a cut on his face. Grafia. Razor Phoenix has been eliminated, said ironically. Han Gil. Barakiel. You don't understand my daughter, he couldn't continue because Gil interrupted him. Bill. I'm not interested, I see he doesn't want to know anything about his daughter or those hitches, and that's why he's going to stay away from you, he said furiously. Barakiel took the blow with a shield, knocking him out of combat. Grafia. Barakiel has been eliminated, she said, already resigned. Surzich. This is unheard of, they already beat half the team, he said incredulously. Michael. We shouldn't have taken these guys lightly, he said in amazement. Han Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Hey, you really are a god, I don't think you were that strong, he said calmly, while the Egyptian was wrapped in spiderwebs. Heb. Brat, how dare you do this to me? I demand that you free me, he said annoyed. Spider-Man. You look prettier when you keep quiet and don't worry, I'll let you go when you give up, he said quietly. With Issei. He was engaged in a fierce battle against Ares and Sarerg as Gorop watched him, analyzing the battle. Issei. Drake deploys my armor, let's see what you think of that new power, he said amused. Drake. At your command, he said deploying the Markal armor. Azazel. But what is that, he said impressed. Ajuka. What kind of technology is that? He said incredulously. Ares. I don't care what kind of armor you wear, you won't beat me, he said, launching into the attack. Gustav. How about us, he said, appearing with the others. Issei. I see you're done, he said calmly. Jack. Sure, let us take care of the strong man, he said while attacking the yokai with Angel. Issei. Okay, he said, going against the bale. Thus began a fight between Ares and Gustav and Gil and Gorop and Angel and Jack. Sererg. You will not defeat me, you will return with my cousin, he said angrily. Issei. Tell me what cheap excuse they convinced you with, he said seriously, hitting him, sending him to the rubble. More or less like this. Sererg. What are you talking about, he said seriously. Issei. Yes, tell me why you helped them after they broke up with me, he said seriously. Sererg. What are you talking about? You broke up with them and even married someone, he said incredulously. Issei. It's a typical lie, how low they fall, but you know that whatever you want, it's over, he said, stretching out his arm and launching a missile, turning his back on the bale. Brafia. Sererg Bale has been eliminated, she said shocked. Angel. Goodbye little animal, he said hitting an explosive arrow in the yokai. Brafia. Gorop has been eliminated, she said in surprise. Brafia Keb has given up, she said without further ado. Spider-Man. He finally gave in, he said tired. Ares. I'm the only one left, he said confidently. Issei. Don't believe it, he said firing a beam from his chest. Gustav. Let's finish it quickly, he said throwing a lightning bolt. Spider-Man. Hey, you can't attack, he said holding the god's arms with spiderwebs. Bill. Guys, let's repeat the spell, he said seriously. Angel Jack. Okay, they said determinedly. Angel Gil Jack Bombarda Maxima, they said with determination. All the attacks shook the battlefield and then we saw an Ares on the ground. Brafia. Ares has been eliminated, the winners are the Avengers, she said incredulously. Issei. Well done, we did it, he said celebrating the victory, being transported back to the human world. Gu Club Academy of Occultism. The boys were in front of the leaders who were silent. Azazel. How are you so powerful? He said incredulously. Issei. That's a secret, he said seriously. Surzich. I see, no, he couldn't continue because Icy interrupted him. Issei. With this victory I won my freedom, now they can't force me to do anything, he said seriously. Michael. But you are the pillar of the factions, he said nervously. Issei. I will continue to help you, but I have other priorities, but I can tell you that if we do not protect you, I swear that we will avenge you, he said seriously. Shiva. So we take this as, he said seriously. Issei. A promise. Wonderland. So you think they'll let us be part of the Avengers? I don't know, but we will show them that we are capable. New members. 3 days have passed since the battle where the girls wanted to talk to him, but he didn't pay attention to them. Tiba. Issei Butchu wants to see you, said sadly with Gasper. Issei. You already know my answer, he said while eating with his friends. Bill. They don't get tired, they know how annoying they are, he said with disgust. Issei. You heard, stop bothering me, he said angrily. Gasper. But he couldn't continue because Icy interrupted him. Issei. But nothing, I already found out that you knew what the girls were planning, he said angrily. Jack. You guys are despicable, he said angrily. Tiba. Issei understands all this is evil, Issei spoke again. Issei. Nothing, I don't want to hear them anymore, but I have to thank you, he said seriously. Gasper. Because Icy, he said shyly. Issei. I easily discovered who my friend really is. Student Council. Gustav. What do you want, Miss Citri? He said seriously. Sona. Thanks for coming, what I have to tell you is, Gustav spoke. Gustav. Before continuing I would like to tell you that I am not going to talk to Icy to join your entourage, he said seriously. Sona. No, of course not. Issei earned his freedom, he said he would. Gustav. I see, okay, continue, he said calmly. Sona. Well, I want you to join my entourage, she said seriously and without hesitation. Gustav. Ha 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 ha, laughing uncontrollably. Sona. What's so funny, she said angrily. Gustav. Wait, are you serious? Then let me laugh harder, ha 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 ha, he said funny. Saji. Damn you, how dare you take this as a game, he said throwing a punch. Gustav. You are a simple reincarnated demon, I am someone who humiliated a god, what makes you think you can defeat me? He said stopping the blow with his hand. Sona, enough, this is not a game, she said it would be. Gustav. And what benefits would I get because looking at it, well, I don't gain anything, he said seriously. The brunette was speechless because what the brown-haired man said was true and it seemed that everything was lost. Sona. You're right, maybe you won't get any benefit, but what do you think of a challenge? She said it would be. Gustav. What kind of challenge, he said confused. Sona. A game of chess, if I win you will join my entourage, if you win, I will not bother you and your friends, she said confidently. Gustav. Okay, let's play. 1 hour later. The two played in a magnificent and impeccable manner, and each had a rack, 2 pawns, a rook and his king. Gustav. You know I'm missing classes, right? He said seriously, moving a pawn. Sona. Don't worry, just use this, she said. It would be while Momo left a paper that informed that he missed class due to council matters. Gustav. I see. Oh, checkmate, he said calmly. Sona. What, she said incredulously, seeing how her king could no longer move to a safe place and none of her pieces could help. Gustav. Good game, see you later, he said, leaving the place. Sona. This is not possible, she said in disbelief. Saji. Calm down, Kaicho, it's just a defeat, he said, trying to calm the atmosphere. Tsubaki. No, Saji, you don't understand what's happening. He couldn't continue because Sona spoke. Sona. The first man who defeats me will become my husband. 2 hours later. Issei. So he wanted you to become his dear, he said with disgust. Jack. Those demons are really annoying, he said with disgust. Angel. Although thanks to you they will stop bothering us, he said calmly. Gustav. Yes, they owe me one, but it doesn't matter, changing the subject. Issei. What happened to Spider-Man, he said, curious. Issei. Well, he's going back home, but he's willing to help us when necessary, he said calmly. Bill. He's a good boy. How old is he? He said curiously. Issei. 15 years old, is 2 years younger than us, he said calmly. Jack. Wow, and he's already quite the hero, he sure has guts, he said, amazed. Issei. Yes, that's why it seemed like a good option to me, he said calmly. You're the Avengers, said a voice alerting the boys. Issei. Excuse me, you mean us, he said, trying to look calm. Of course you are the crazy one who drove the car into the fountain, said a silver-haired boy pointing at Gil. Gil. Edo, he said nervously. Issei. We'll talk about that later, but what good wishes, he said, looking at the boys. We want to be part of the Avengers, said a brown-haired girl. Issei like this, he said curiously. Yes, said a black-haired woman. Gustav. First of all, could you tell us your names? He said calmly. So of course I'm Wanda Maximoff, said the brunette. I am Peter Maximoff, said the silver-haired man. And I am Jennifer Walters, said the black-haired girl. Issei. Okay, come here, it's not a place to talk about that topic, he said seriously. Hi to residents. The boys were sitting while in front of them were the 3 guests. Issei. Well, tell me, what is the reason why you want to be Avengers, or in your case Avengers, he said seriously. Wanda. Well, we want to make a difference, to show that these powers can be used to help, she said determinedly. Peter. Yes, we have seen the cruelty of the world and the suffering of the people, but the heroes in Wonderland are very limited and are managed by the police or private organizations, and independent heroes usually clash with them, he said seriously. Bill. So the heroes of private organizations don't allow independent heroes to help, he said in surprise. Jennifer. Yes, that's why we would like to belong to the Avengers. I know they belong to another world, but she couldn't continue because Jack decided to speak. Jack. Well, and I think I speak for all my companions, their reasons and their ways of thinking are good and we understand, but to see if they will be part of the Avengers, we would like to know one thing, he said calmly, while the others nodded. Wanda. What a thing, she said curiously. Issei. What are his powers? Location unknown. Are you sure, Cao Cao, said an old man. Cao Cao. If Rizavam the Securitate no longer belongs to the factions, he said seriously. Euclid. It's a great opportunity, my lord, he said seriously. Rizavam. You're right, let's say hello. The big surprise. Issei. Well, what are your powers? He said curiously. Greg. It's not necessary, he said, surprising everyone. Issei. What are you talking about? He said curiously. Greg. Look, said the booster gear appearing, projecting a not very large screen where information appeared. Jack. Jennifer Walters. Alias She-Hulk. Super strength at incredible levels. Unparalleled endurance. Injected with the same serum as the original Hulk, Bruce Banner. Said, reading her file. Gustav. Wanda Maximoff. Alias. Scarlet Witch. Power to manipulate everything with magic. Mental powers. Mutant category. He said in amazement. Angel. Finally, Peter Maximoff. Alias. Quicksilver. Super speed. And a great sense of humor. Mutant category. He said calmly. Issei. Wow, you guys are amazing at what they think, he said calmly. Bill. I like them, and we know that we can't be in Wonderland for now, and I think that together with Spider-Man, they would be good representatives, he said seriously. Issei. What do you think, Gustav, he said while everyone looked at the brown-haired boy. Gustav. If you are the leader, it is your decision, he said seriously. Issei. Well, with the fact that you are the one in charge of making sure we don't make stupid decisions, he said amused. Gustav. Haha, very funny Haidu Issei, you hardly consulted me about the Spider-Man case he said seriously. Issei. You're right, guys are inside he said smiling. The three guests were more than happy as they were now new Avengers. Greg. You'll need this he said, taking out some kind of credentials with the initials of the Avengers. This is the design. Issei. Wow, I didn't know you could do that or the files he said amazed. Greg. Being combined with a machine has its advantages he said calmly taking out 5 other credentials. Issei. Drake create Spider-Man he said calmly. Greg. Fine said without problem. Issei. Hey Quicksilver, when you have time, give it to Spider-Man he said while throwing the credential. Peter. Don't worry, I'll do it he said calmly. Wanda. Well, see you later and thanks for the opportunity she said happily. Issei. Don't thank me, just do your best. So the three of them left for Tokyo to return to their world while the boys said goodbye and returned to their homes. Haidu residence 2:45 a.m. The brown-haired boy moved abruptly in his bed while having a nightmare. Issei. Who are you he said looking at a strange being. Soon everything you know will be destroyed. Issei. We will not allow it, my friends and I will stop you he said angrily. You mean them? Issei looked and could see all his friends lifeless with their weapons broken. Issei. Nuu screams waking up from sleep. Ella. Issei what's wrong she said scared. Issei. No it's nothing it was just a nightmare he said sweating cold. Ella. Are you sure? She said distressed. Issei. Yes calm down he said trying to seem calm. Greg. That wasn't just a dream he said in the brown-haired boy's mind. Issei. I know and I will find out what it means. The next day. The boys were gathered together at the beginning of their break as was customary. Bill. I see, you're okay, you're quieter than usual he said curiously. Issei. It's nothing he said nervously. Gustav. I'm sure I notice you he couldn't continue because someone interrupted him. Excuse me, are you Gustav Bizarius said a tall man with black hair and glasses, accompanied by a black-haired woman and the Mau Leviathan with Sona. Gustav. Again it's me who wants it he said frustrated. Nice to meet you, I am Lady Citri, and this is my husband Lord Citri, we want to know if it is true that you defeated my daughter in a game of chess, said the serious woman. Issei. Gustav that's true he said worried. Gustav. If it's true I beat her, it was a bet he said seriously. I see. Gustav, what a stupid thing you did he said incredulously. Bill. Why do you say that? He said confused like the rest. Lord Citri. Well, it is now confirmed that from now on you are my daughter's fiancé he said happily, just like his wife. Bill K. Jack. What? Angel? What? Gustav. What the hell he said incredulously. Issei. That's why Sona said it, she made a deal with the Demon Council, she wouldn't be engaged to any demon or any other man unless they defeated her in a game of chess he said seriously. Gustav. Wait, that wasn't part of the deal. The deal was that if she won, I would join her entourage and if I won, she would leave me and my friends alone he said nervously. Sona. Yes, that was the deal, but I never thought I would lose she said nervously. Bill. Seriously Gustav has been a chess champion in multiple tournaments, this crazy guy could beat 3 opponents on different boards he said seriously. Gustav. That's not the point, besides I can't, I'm already married and with 2 women he said seriously. Lord Citri. Perfect, you already have a harem, I don't see the problem he said seriously. Gustav. And what do you think Sona? Don't you have an opinion? He said, hoping she would refuse. Sona. I set that condition and I am more than sure that whoever defeats me would be worthy of being my husband, she said blushing. Gustav. I'm screwed he said, lowering his head. Lady Citri. Let no more be said she said happily. Serafal. I can't wait to see Sona Tan's wedding she said happily. Angel. But it can't be Gustav was a victim of a trap he said angrily. Issei. I agree with that. If Gustav had known about that clause, this wouldn't have happened he couldn't continue because Gustav screamed. Gustav. Be careful he said alarming everyone as a car fell from the sky. Issei. What the hell is going on he said without understanding. Sona. Guys evacuate the students Tsubaki go with anger and tell him about this she said seriously. Serafal. Who the hell dares to attack the human world said would be. Issei. Maybe someone who doesn't belong to the supernatural world he said seriously. Lord Citri. I think the boy is right even the Chaos Brigade are not stupid enough to reveal their existence he said seriously. So you guys are the Avengers, you're just brats said a guy along with 3 other people. Issei. Who are you he said seriously. I am Baron Zemo. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day bye.